There is still a lot of talent available on the board for the Chicago Bears to select in day 2 of the 2023 NFL Draft. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another draft discussion video. I'll be having a live stream tonight again from 6 p.m. Central to whenever the Bears' last pick is, which we have 3 picks tonight. We have pick number, let me read it. We have pick number 53, we have pick number 61, and pick number 64. So 2 second-round picks and 1 third-round pick, which the Bears could be doing a lot of good with these picks because there's so many high-level players available at positions of need for the Chicago Bears that could be big boosts to their starting lineup for next year. Now, yesterday we selected Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, in the first round, which if you guys didn't see my reaction to that, you should go check it out. It was a video right before this one, but I was super happy about that pick. We filled in a big need on the right side of the offensive line, got a very good pass protecting tackle for Justin Fields. But now, looking at the offensive line guys left, looking at the guys that we could target, I feel like we would only target a center now on day 2 because we don't have big needs now at tackle or at guard. We already have 2 solid guards. We have 2 solid, tackles as well. Young tackles in Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. So I think center is the only spot in the O-line that is still, somewhat weak right now. Even though we do have Cody Whitehair there, a veteran that has played center in the past. Cody Whitehair has not played center since 2020. So it's been a while. Lucas Patrick behind him. We signed him last year, but he got injured all of last year. He missed, most of last year. So you cannot really be relying on these guys to be high-level centers for you for a long time. And with how good the center class actually is this year, and with not a single center being off the board yet, there's so many good center prospects available for the Chicago Bears to select. Okay, Joe Tippmann out of Wisconsin, a fantastic option, a big bulky dude. He's 6'6", 313 pounds, definitely very big for being a center, but I think that Ryan Poles would like that. I mean, he likes the bigger guys up front that can maul people, that can bulldoze people, that can overpower people, overwhelm guys with their power, and Joe Tippmann definitely is that. You got John Michael Schmitz, JMS from Minnesota, still on the board. This guy's tape was phenomenal. Longtime starter at Minnesota, has really good technique. That'll be a fantastic pick for the Chicago Bears. Also, Luke Whippler out of Ohio State. I mean, this guy started for one of the most pass-heavy offenses in the NFL. He's agile, he's mobile, he's quick enough to fit the Bears zone blocking scheme, and he played very good as a pass protector. So if you want to keep on adding better pass protectors up front so we can actually pass the ball much more than we did last year, any of these centers could be very good picks for the Bears. Okay, it would be a pick for not only this year but for the future as well, because we don't have a long-term center on the roster right now, and center is one of the most undervalued positions in the NFL, but it's one of the most important positions I feel like on the line because he's going to be touching the ball every single snap. Staying in the trenches, let me talk about some defensive linemen now. We obviously have big needs on the D-line. We did not draft D-line yesterday. We could have selected Jalen Carter. We passed on him because of character concerns and off the field concerns, so we're not going to get a talent like Jalen Carter in the second round, but there's still so many phenomenal talents on the D-line in the second round. Talking about defensive tackles first of all, okay, 3 techniques or 1 technique. So talking about 3 techniques first of all, Adetomiwa Adebawore from Northwestern is still on the board. I actually had the Bears trading up in the second round to get him in my latest mock draft. So let's see. I mean, that could be a possibility for the Bears because we do have an extra pick now, an extra 4th round pick from next year. So if you want to maybe trade a 4th round pick this year or trade that next year 4th round pick to move up a little bit to jump some people and get your guy, Adetomiwa Adebawore, who's an explosive guy, one of the best athletes in the draft, okay, a guy that Eberflus can mold into being a phenomenal 3 technique for his defense. That could be a great pick. You have Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin, who could be a 1 technique or be a 3 technique too, because he is more athletic than a lot of people give him credit for. He tested really well at the combine, so it's a guy that could be a fantastic run defender, but also a guy that could get some pressure on the quarterback because he does have the burst, the explosion, the lateral agility, to maybe be a 3 technique. So 2 really good defensive tackle options. You also have Jervon Dexter out of Florida, who's also pretty athletic, but more of a 1 technique, I'd say. Siaki Ika from Baylor, who's definitely a 1 technique, definitely a bigger, nose tackle type of guy that's built strongly. He's only going to be basically a run defender, but he has a lot of power in his frame. So at defensive tackle, those are, some really good options. Going to defensive end now, though, obviously we still have a big need at defensive end because right now it's only DeMarcus Walker, Trevis Gibson, Rasheem Green, and Dominique Robinson. So definitely need to add more talent there. And if you look at the pass rushers on the board right now, there's so many fantastic ones that I would really love for the Bears to go after. There's Keon White out of Georgia Tech, who's an older prospect. So maybe, Bears fans don't want that because he is older. I believe he's going to be 24. He's a very good athlete though, so I think he could fit the Bears system. But definitely on the older side. If you look at Derek Hall, though, out of Auburn, very explosive, long arms. He produced the last 2 years. He had, 15.5 sacks the last 2 years at Auburn. So another really good option at defensive end. You got other guys like Zach Harrison, who has the longest arms in the class. So, with how much Poles does value arm length at defensive end, at offensive tackle too, that could be a very good option. A guy that did not produce too much at Ohio State, definitely left some to be desired in terms of actual production. The upside is ridiculously high if you can mold this guy into being a better football player at the next level, if you can improve his technique. So Zach Harrison, Isaiah Foskey is on the board too. Okay, the guy at Notre Dame that I actually had the Bears selecting in my mock draft. Again, that I posted recently, a guy that was very productive at Notre Dame, has really good size, really good athletic traits. He tested really well at the combine, and a guy that was an all-around really good football player, playing against the run and against the pass. So another really good option at defensive end for the Bears. You got Tuli Tupolito out of USC. You got Byron Young out of Tennessee. You got Yaya Diaby out of Louisville, although I feel like Yaya Diaby is probably more of a 4th, 5th round guy, so probably not an option on day 2, but I guess you can never be sure. I mean, Yaya Diaby tested really well at the combine too, so he could be a day 2 guy. So there is a lot of talent guys on the board for the Bears to improve their D-line significantly. Like, we could pick up 2 guys on the D-line to, just improve the trenches a lot more than what they were last year, and I think I would be very happy with that for the Chicago Bears, even if we did pass on a Jalen Carter. Now, I do want to talk about tight ends as well, because I feel like there could be a chance we do select tight end as well, even though I know tight end is not the biggest need in the world. We already have Cole Kmet, a solid option at tight end. We signed Robert Tonyan to a 1-year deal, but both of those guys are only under contract for 1 year as of now. I do think we will extend Cole Kmet, but with how much talent is on the board right now at tight end, I think if you want to go best player available, tight end could be a BPA pick, and also a guy that could be, really good alongside Cole Kmet for the next, 4 years, assuming you do extend Cole Kmet or replace Cole Kmet if you don't want to extend Cole Kmet. So first guy on the board, Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, which I cannot believe he's somehow on the board, because he's viewed as being a first-round pick for a long time, an all-around really good player at tight end, a good route runner, has good physicality too. I don't think he's going to be available for the Bears to select, at pick number 53, so they're probably going to have to trade up a lot to get him, but he would be a great option. We could have a dual Notre Dame tight end group in Cole Kmet and Michael Mayer. You got Luke Musgrave, an athletic tight end out of Oregon State. You got Darnell Washington out of Georgia, who was a just absolute freak of a player. He's an offensive lineman that can run routes. I mean, he's 6'7", 269 pounds, just tested crazy at the combine in terms of speed. Top end speed, top end agility, top end explosion. He'd be a really fun player in 12 personnel because he's a fantastic run blocker and a good pass blocker too. So improving the protection up front for Justin Fields, and improving our run game too with how good of a run blocker he is and how big he actually is. And we also got Sam Laporta out of Iowa, who also tested really well at the combine. Produced for Iowa big time. He was Iowa's best player on the offense, probably the only good player on the offense. So a lot of good tight ends to select as well. I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Bears do select tight end, even though it's not the most pressing need in the world. And lastly, talking about cornerback. Okay, cornerback is definitely, I would say definitely a need right now for the Bears, because opposite of Jalen Johnson, we do have Kyler Gordon, but I'm not sure if Kyler Gordon is going to be playing, full-time outside or full-time nickel. Regardless, we do need one more cornerback, because all the great teams in the league nowadays, they do have 3 cornerbacks at least that can play. And right now we only have 2, because Kindle Vildor, I feel like, he's not a long-term option at cornerback, even though I know he had a bounce-back season last year. But talking about the cornerbacks, we got Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State, still available somehow, but I don't think the Bears have any chance at him unless they trade up big time, because he was supposed to be a first-round lock. I mean, one of the best cornerbacks in this class, 6'3", 193 pounds, long, athletic, very good in coverage. So that would be a dream to get Joey Porter Jr. in the second round. We're going to have to trade up for that, though, for sure. You got Tyreek Stevenson out of Miami, a long cornerback. Julius Brents, another long cornerback that tested really well at the combine. He was a Bears fan favorite in mock drafts. You got Keely Ringo on the board, too, out of Georgia. A guy that is somewhat raw, I feel like, in terms of, his technical ability, but very athletic, very high upside. You got DJ Turner out of Michigan. You got Cam Smith out of South Carolina. Clark Phillips, Utah, if you want another Utah cornerback like we have in Jalen Johnson. Also, Trevius Hodges-Tomlinson, who, coming from TCU, he's obviously a smaller cornerback, so I'm not sure if the Bears are going to, pass on him for that reason, because he is a smaller cornerback. But playing in nickel, being our nickel cornerback, Trevius Hodges-Tomlinson could be one of the best nickel cornerbacks in the NFL, so I think that would be a fantastic pick as well. So regardless, we have so many options at cornerback too to improve our secondary. But that's basically all I wanted to say in this video. Let me know down below which players you want the Bears to go after in day 2 of the draft. Again, I'll be live streaming my reaction for rounds 2 and 3 live from 6 p.m. to whenever the Bears' last pick is. I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get a lot of good players on this team, and honestly, day 2 is going to be even more exciting than yesterday was, because now we have 3 picks, 3 high-level players that could be immediate starters on the Bears for many years to come. So let me know your thoughts down below, but as always, bear down.